Hello, tech friends. Today we're looking at the Texas. Well, I'll tell you what, just before we start this episode, let me pop that to one side and say we've reached over 500 subscribers. And I'm pretty proud of that. I think that's great. Thank you very much for watching, and particularly thank you if you've left a comment on one of the videos. It really encourages me to keep on going and produce excellent content like this. So this is the Texas Instruments PS-6700 or 6700 or 6007 who knows how to pronounce these things. This is essentially a little digital organizer from 1996. It retailed for about $69 when it first came out, so not super cheap, but you know, Texas Instruments, isn't it? Their stuff's never super cheap. Let's have a little look around the back and see what we've got. Right, over here we've got two battery compartments with this funky little switch. It means if can I open them? Yes, the bottom one I can open, but I can't open the top one. And this is just a coin 2032 battery, and we'll pop that down and close it. But if we switch this bit here, it means I can't open the bottom one, but I can open the top one. What a great idea to keep the battery alive so that you know, you don't lose the memory and stuff like that while you're swapping batteries out. That's clever, isn't it? We've got these 5 little dots on the back here, which I think is for when you insert it into a dock, and then you can transfer stuff to various programs on your old Windows computer, no doubt. But let's open this up and take a good look at it. So there we are, 64 kilobytes of memory. PS, what do you think PS stands for this? Pretty solid. Personal snorganizer. Yeah, it's probably one of those. Look, we've got an entire QWERTY keyboard, and we've got the number row across the top, which is pretty unusual. Normally they'd be sort of fudged into a sort of number pad arrangement in this sort of area of the keyboard, and you'd have to access it through the calculator or using shift or something like that. We've also got a row of buttons along the bottom where we've got cancel, insert, delete, edit, keywords, space. Everyone likes a bit of space, man. Symbols, save, enter, and that little button there is your old carriage return for getting onto a new line. And then across the top we can switch it on or off, which we will get to. We've got an options button, calculator, dedicated calculator button there, alarm, and then we've got the sort of 3 main functions where we've got reminders, we've got addresses, and we've got notes. And those scans are kind of like preset searches, and we've got the general big search over here where it says find. And we got a friend here called Mark. Let's see if we can figure out what he's all about while we're looking at this. Couldn't find the exact manual for this one, but I could find the sort of predecessor one, but the layout's a bit different, and even the batteries are different and stuff. So I've had to try and figure out most of this, but I think we'll be able to do it together. It remembers the last thing that you were looking at. So let's zoom in a little bit so you can see the screen, and let's take a look. There we go. Hopefully that's nice and clear so you can see it. Right, it says make a selection, set display contrast. What are we on here? Well, we're on the options screen, okay? So I can switch between the different things here, reminders, addresses, notes, and it makes a little chirpy beep every time I do that. But let's start with the options and see what we've got. We can set the display contrast. I can press up and down, and that will change that. I think that's been adjusted perfectly for your viewing pleasure. Option is set. Then we can back up and restore the memory. So I guess that would be if you were connected to a device or a computer or something, so that you can transfer data in between. You can lock and unlock the unit with a password. You can set the date and time, which I've already done here. I think on the previous version of this device's manual, it suggests it's good until 2099. So, you know, you could, as long as the batteries are good and the device holds out, you could be using this for decades in the future. So we've got month, day, and year format. I'm not sure how to change the month, day, year format. Always a little bit frustrating if you're not in America. But never mind, we'll cope with it. And then we've got, let's see, custom options here. So press 5. Let's see, we can set the password. We can set the key tone. Can it be lots of different things? Oh, essentially it's just on or off. And you see we've got these little check boxes, and just above the X letter on the keyboard, down here, we've got a little checkbox. So rather than reuse one of the other buttons, we've got a dedicated button to switch between these different things. So we can have a click or a beep. You probably can't hear that now if I just keep pressing it. That apparently is the beep. Well, let's go down and change it to a click instead. Will that make the difference? Who knows? Okay, so then we'll press save there. Option is set. Let's see if it makes any difference. There's a slight noise difference there if I just press up and down. You're never going to be able to hear that. You'll just have to take my word for it. Right, and then we can scroll down and we can set daily alarms. We can check the batteries. Hey, let's do that. 7. Battery 1 is okay. Battery 2 is okay. That's all you need to know. So we come out of that. And then we can turn alarms on or off. We can check the unit memory. This is quite a nice display for that. Look at that. Bags and bags of space. I obviously haven't used any of it really very much at all. And then we can come out of that. We can show cities and times. All the sort of things that you would generally like to do. Right, okay, let's start with the calculator then. And if I just push this up just a little bit to input some of the numbers. So this is, I wouldn't say, I mean, the buttons are really nice to press. They feel very nice indeed. But it's difficult to sort of type numbers in across a top row. But I suppose a lot of keyboards these days, you're getting your TKL, your 10 keyless keyboard. Is that what that means? You know, where the keyboard's smaller and you don't have the number pad on the side, so you have to do it on the top. So maybe most people are used to that sort of stuff now anyway. Let's multiply that by 3 and press equals, and there we go. We get what everyone knows is the answer: 1,854,351. Yep, I think that's working correctly. We also got percentages and minuses and all the stuff that you would normally have on a calculator. So I think we can trust that. Right, then we'll have a look at the reminders section here. Okay, so we've got no reminders for this day. It tells me it's a Saturday, gives me the date and the time. We can show reminders, enter new reminders, enter yearly reminder, show calendar, and then we can change to, and then we can put a specific date in to jump to that date. So let's just quickly have a look at the calendar, because come on, look at that. Who doesn't love a good calendar display? We can go up and down the months by pressing the page up and page down buttons here: June, July, August, and then we can move around the individual calendar parts. There we are, by navigating with these up, down, left and right keys. And then if I press enter and go into one of those days, we're now on that day, and we can show reminders, enter new reminders. Hey, let us enter a new reminder for the 16th of June 2023. So I'm happy with the date, and then I can put in the time. What about some late night egg eating? Yes, let's do that. So 10 p.m. I've got a special PM button here. The P changes it to PM, and then there's an A over here that changes it to AM. That seems a bit over the top, doesn't it? Let's change that to PM, and then that's going to finish at 11 o'clock. And then we can enter the description. Well, what are we going to do? You might be able to tell I'm doing this early in the morning and I haven't had any breakfast yet. So eggs are on my mind. They're not always on my mind, but they are right now. So we are going to cook, how many? 2 eggs. Full stop. Very serious statement. And I can move on to the next line by pressing that carriage return button, or I can press enter and it'll sort of take what I've written as the entire description. So let's do that. So then once you've written your description, it asks you how many days notice that you want in terms of the reminder, I guess. So say I wanted to be reminded in one day prior. I think that's what it's talking about there. And then it asks me if I want to save it. Well, jolly well, yes, I do. And there it is, saved on the 16th of the 6th. So if we just have a look at the calendar, does it show up on there as something where we've got a reminder? It doesn't, does it? You might have seen on some other videos that it kind of highlights it in a way if it shows that there's some sort of reminder or activity that's happening on that day. But it doesn't do that here, but that's not the end of the world. We can just show reminders, and it will show us on any particular day. It hasn't got any for that day, but then it switches over to the next day where we do have reminders, and then it tells us we're at the bottom of the list when we've finished looking at all that stuff. So we can enter new reminders, we can enter yearly reminders, very useful for birthdays and anniversaries, so you don't forget those, folks. And that's pretty much it in the reminder section. And then if I press that day scan, it'll tell me if, on any particular day, what I'm looking at, which is similar to show reminders, isn't it, really? Yeah, all right. Or I think maybe that's giving us a schedule of everything that's coming up. So let's try adding another reminder, but more in just a few days rather than a week or two. Let's enter a new reminder. And let's do it for these month date things. Very annoying. Let's change this date to the 6th. There we go. Then we won't get confused, will we? Now let's start that at 9 a.m. What's it gonna be? That's gonna go all the way to 11 a.m. Busy morning. Well, we've cooked the eggs. We're cooking the eggs in 2 weeks' time. We should probably cook the sausages, right? That'll take 2 hours and 2 weeks in. We'll just put them in the fridge, okay? Well, I've made a mistake there, but I can press the delete button, and that will delete the text as I'm doing it. Sausages. Cooked. I haven't said how many. Well, generically, the number of sausages you need for a breakfast is two, everyone. So we'll press enter, and we'll say we're not worried about getting notice about it. But now if I press the daily scan, it tells me cook sausages, and that's it. If I click on show reminders, then I can cycle between them using the page up and page down keys to... Hold on a second, new prescription? Who put that in there? That wasn't me. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if... I tell you what, if this was from the previous owner, that's brilliant. That was from 1999. Let's hope they got that prescription and whatever it was has cleared up. Certainly more serious than... Oh, look, they've got a few things in here. Wait, right for new prescription. I wonder if these could be dummy entries in here, I suppose. Wow, what an interesting thing to find. Certainly more serious than my sausages and my eggs. Hey, maybe that was the prescription. Okay, let's go over to addresses. Should we show the addresses? Yep, let's do that. We haven't got any, so we're going to enter one. Right, the name. I'm going to put in J. Sainsbury. Yes, there we are, J. Sainsbury. Because that's the supermarket who will provide me with those goods. Phone number, I don't know what their phone number is, 081-811-8181. We'll try that. And then we can enter address info. And then this is just kind of like a block of text that I can write anything in. So if I just put in the lane, and then if I press the carriage return, it will go on to the next line. Let's say that's in Chester. Long way to go to get your sausages. But if you want the best, you've got to be willing to travel. Then we hit enter, and here's interesting stuff. We've got these lists here, so we can decide whether this address is part of a particular list or not. So you could have a work group, and you could have a home group, and you could have a breakfast specific group, and you can switch between them by hitting that little tick box which is above the letter X. And then that way you can switch between which ones that they appear in, and they can appear in multiple ones, which is quite good. So it's like a little label, like Google Mail labels. So yeah, we'll save that. Thanks very much. And then if I go to show addresses, so that will show us everything we've got. So if I had more than one, I could cycle through them like that. And it even says select an address list here, so I just want to see everything that's in list 1. There's nothing in list 1 there. What's in list 2? Nothing in there. I think we put it in list 3. Oh, maybe I didn't put it in any of them. So that's not going to show up. Or we can press a letter key, like the old address Rolodex thing. So I'm going to select J. There it is. Okay, it has appeared. Okay, now I didn't mention the scan bit here. If I press on scan, I don't think there's much it does in the address world. It says press a letter or enter. So, I guess if you add tons in there, it's a short way of sort of narrowing a list down. But over on the reminders side, if I press scans with an S, not just scan, We can scan reminder alarms, scan by week, scan by month. So if I was to search for things that are in June, and that's what's come up, and there we got our sausages, there we got our eggs. So that's more useful, I think, than just trying to sort of hunt around and try and find them. Then we've got notes, a classic note entry system here. Let's show those notes. We ain't got no notes, so let's enter a note. We get to put in the title, which is going to be, I don't know, shopping list. A shopping list. Ah, well, it's close enough, isn't it? And then I can type in whatever I want. So let's just type in, we're going to stick all those eggs on there. Oh gosh, I can't. Maybe it's not so great at repeatedly accepting my button presses. So let's just delete that and type that in properly. Eggs. We got our sausages. We got our... should we have some black pudding? Well, it's not to everyone's taste, but I think I'm going to go for it today. Yes, I'll probably have to do a small amount of exercise after this. Although, because I put the reminders so far apart, I'm spreading it over a month, right? This is turning into very weird set of demonstration information here. Right, symbols. Let's press the old symbols button, the one down here. What do we got? Well, we've got any kind of symbol that you want. That looks like a smiley face if I press D. Or it's possibly the letter U with the umlaut on the top. Who can say? The other thing we've got down here is keywords. Okay, now this is almost kind of like a clipboard, but not quite. You have to preset it. So if I press the keywords button here, select a keyword, potato, again, obviously, still very hungry. I can just press one of these buttons and it'll insert the word. So let's press 1, and there it is. It's put in potato. Where do we set that list? If we head on over to options, although it's going to ask me if I want to save before I leave. So let's say, yes, I do want to save it. Then we're over into options. Then we need to, I think it's in set custom options. Yes, here we are. Enter, edit a keyword 3. And I can change these and edit these. So obviously I've put potato in. Didn't come with that by default. Let's do number 2. And we will go to the end there and delete all that. And let's put in tomato. Yeah, there we go. 1 of your 5 a day. Tomato, enter. And then we've got the word tomato in there because, you might have to type that in. But you can imagine if you put maybe your own telephone number in or, I don't know, your email address. I'm not sure. Something that you might have to save regularly. And then if we go over into the notes, we will show a note. Here's this one. We can't do anything with it until we press edit. So we're just viewing it. So we hit edit and there we go. Then we're actually in it. And then if I go down here, press the carriage return, press keywords. Let's put a tomato in there. And there it is. That's a quite cool feature. I haven't seen that on anything before. And then if we move over on to this section here, we've got find. So let's find a word. And we can select to search the entire memory for something, or we just search reminders, just search addresses, just search notes. So let's try notes. Let's see if it can do part of a word. If I do Tom searching, well, I mean, it's found the shopping list. Okay, so that's good. And we can cancel the search. Yes, cancelled. And the other way you can search is to search in everything. So it says all 4 lists. So we've got reminders, addresses, notes, and this one here, secret notes. Now, if I select all 4 lists, it wants to know what the password is. But I haven't set one. So let's set one now. So 5, set change password. Here we go. Enter current password. Well, I don't know what it is. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Enter incorrect password. Well, there might be some secrets in here that I'm unable to access. A mystery. So if I reset the entire device, then we'll never know, will we? But maybe there's a way. If I check one of the older manuals, maybe I'll be able to find something. Hey, I'll post a comment update if I manage to dig around and actually find things. Now, what about this mark button? What does that do? If I select a note, for instance, and then I hit mark, I feel like I've now marked that. Okay, so then if I press mark, can I find things based on a bookmark then? Yes, there we go. Okay, so that's a bookmark. Not just mark, but a bookmark. So there we go. Not a bad little device. It's quite small. It's quite light. It's got quite a big memory, and it can store lots of information for you. And if you could connect it to a PC, and I think on the website datamath.org, where I found information about this device, it says that it's connected. It can connect to the Lotus suite of word processor and organizer and all that sort of stuff. So you'd be able to transfer information to that. And this is a bit of a shout out to datamath.org, the website. I'll put a link in the description, because if you like things like this, it's a gold mine of information. They go into a lot of detail about everything, lots of devices like this, and really break it down and provide a lot of information, especially when I can't find it anywhere else. So thanks to that website. Anyway, that is it for this episode. Again, generally, thank you very much for watching, and thanks for watching this specific video. I'll see you again soon.